I did not have high hopes for this. I read some leaks, and they were like something out of a bad fanfiction. I heard they were gonna have
Raina
tame sheep stealer. They were gonna make Darren ginger. They were gonna have Alicent abandon King's Landing for Old Town so she could be the Catelyn to Darren's Rob. And or have her show up in Harrenhal so she could go on some bad trips too. That's how this season feels sometimes. Except fanfics are written by fans. I'm surprised to hear she's actually read the books. Judging from what we've seen so far, I thought she was just here to subvert expectations, Kathleen Kennedy style.
Put a ticket in, make a name gay!
This episode opens up with Jason Lannister leading a Lannister army to Harrenhal, but they won't go further because they don't want to face Daemon and Caraxes without Vhagar.
Meanwhile,
In King's Landing, Aemon's mad they don't want to die. He wants them to keep marching, and he wants Sir Criston to raise a host as well. That way Daemon would have a war on two fronts. Aemon finally decides to do something about the Valyrian blockade, and I guess using Vhagar to burn them all is out of the question somehow, so he looks to the Triarchy. The other council guys think it's a bad idea because they were just at war with the Triarchy. This one guy thinks to ally with House Greyjoy is a better idea. To secure that alliance, he wants to marry Alicent off to them. He kind of forgot he's not dealing with Euron. On Dragonstone, Rhaenyra tests out Jace's idea with Sir Stephen Darklyn. Apparently,
you are of noble birth, and I had always heard, as you know, that the Darklyns and the Targaryens had some common blood.
Citation needed.
Your grandmother's grandmother, Arianna, was born a Targaryen princess.
Okay, this show is going into bullshit fanfic territory. There is no Arianna Targaryen. Arianna doesn't even sound remotely Valyrian, by the way. Shouldn't Jace be out there proclaiming that whoever tames a dragon gets land, a knighthood, and wealth? Isn't this where they're going with dragon seeds?
There are those of our line who never ruled. Those who married into other noble houses. Their children born with other names.
He didn't even mention bastards with Valyrian blood at all. Maybe he's the one who doesn't know. There used to be something called the First Night where a High Lord could attend the wedding of a Smallfolk couple and bet the bride bastards that came from those were called dragon seeds. That was before good Queen Alysanne banned the tradition. The Boltons and the Umber still do it though. Or maybe he doesn't like the idea of Targaryen bastards since he is one. Now is not the time to be insecure. As expected, Sir Stephen does not bond with Seasmoke at all. Seasmoke burns him and then flies off, probably wondering why that Adam guy looks so much like Laenor and where Laenor actually was. Are we ever gonna find out what happened to Laenor? Dragons aren't supposed to take another rider until their current one dies. A dragon can only bond with one rider at a time, no exceptions, and a dragon will not let you ride it if they already have a bonded rider that's alive. Joffrey found that out the hard way. Seasmoke actually seeks him out, so this implies that Laenor died off screen. The episode 7 teaser has Rhaenyra confronting Adam about claiming Seasmoke. They can give her one line about how dragons can only get new riders after their current one's dead, and then give us one line about how Laenor must have died in Essos.
He's grown restless of late. We cannot know why.
Maybe he's lonely.
And that could have been when Laenor died, and Seasmoke sensed it, because dragons and riders have a bond. I'm not counting on it, because I don't trust Kondo and Hess to be that competent. They probably just forgot how dragon bonding worked. No wonder George R.R. Martin was so disappointed. Daemon goes on another bad trip. You know, I was okay with these visions exploring Daemon's psyche in the beginning. When they gave us Daemon and Alyssa, I'm like, they jumped the shark. Now I just want him and Caraxes to leave so they can start, burning crops in the Riverlands or something. Daemon clearly wants the same thing. He accuses Simon Strong of drugging him, making him mad, as opposed to the weird girl that gave him a drink that looked like blood. You know, I heard people say it's actually a blood paste, not unlike Jojen paste, and said paste makes his visions more intense. That's my new headcanon as well. in A Dance with Dragons, Bran drinks a blood-like paste that makes his power stronger, and it's theorized Bran's drink was made of Jojen reed. Alice talks to him some more and says,
perhaps those who strive for it are the least suited to wear it.
Going by that logic, Robert was a great king cause he never wanted it, he just had a better claim than Ned or Jon Arryn. And Bran must be the greatest king ever cause he never wanted anything till the last second. She wants him to stay for 3 more days while she leaves. In King's Landing, the Smallfolk are starving. They have fish, but that's not food apparently. That was Mysaria's plan. Get the Smallfolk to riot. Luckily for her, the Smallfolk have the memory span of a goldfish. They kind of forgot that House Velaryon, an ally of Rhaenyra, actually did the blockade.
Why is this anger directed at us? Is Rhaenyra the Pretender who ordered the gullet closed and left them all to starve?
He decides to call Otto back cause he knows how to deal with the Smallfolk. Orwyle bursts in to tell them that Aegon's starting to wake up, so Aemond goes in to torment him. We are never getting this, are we? The relationship between the Greens is broken beyond repair, unless they do some serious retconning in the later seasons, but by then it'll be too late. I can only take so much of everyone shitting on Aegon. I'm still baffled why they had Aemond
I do regret that business with Luke.
only to yank it all away. Lord Celtigar's mad at Rhaenyra. Oh, that's definitely Book Rhaenyra. It came out of nowhere, and I'm not sure if I should be annoyed or, grateful it exists. In the Vale, Rhaena and Joffrey see dragon bones. Jane later tells her it's a wild dragon that's never been written. Oh my god, the leaks were right. They were setting her up for Nettles' arc. So that means no Mourning, which is a travesty. Mourning was the cutest, and she deserves some screen time, as does Nettles. They made such a big virtue-signaling deal about race bending, the Velaryons, but when it comes to a black character that actually exists, they just leave her out.
It's about sending a message. Everything burns.
Of course, it's not about faithfully adapting a book. It's not about telling a story. It's about sending the woke message. Plus, we can't have anything that makes Rhaenyra look bad, cause Nettles gets very close to Daemon. Mushroom said they were lovers even, but the other maesters think she saw him as a father figure. And there's the theory she's his bastard daughter. Lovers or no, Rhaenyra got super jealous. She actually wanted her head. Nettles is actually what drives them apart. I'm assuming they're gonna be ignoring that, unless they thought Daemon and Alyssa weren't enough. In King's Landing, Rhaenyra sent food, but she hasn't called off her own blockade. Really convenient that the guy just happened to be on the beach to get it, and Rhaenyra and Mysaria knew he'd be at that precise spot. The Smallfolk go into a frenzy, trying to get the real food Rhaenyra sent them.
She thinks of us even now!
That's the line that made me realize this is all a bad fanfic. Inside the Red Keep, Alicent's in character. She's staying by Aegon's side.
I'm sorry.
I'll take what I can get. Then she talks with Gwaine, and they keep teasing Darren. They even tease
Prince Darren's dragon was taken to wing.
I'm just praying he'll actually look like a Targaryen. Leek said ginger like a Hightower. The Hightower claim against Rhaenyra is that her children cannot be legitimate cause they are not silver-haired like normal Targaryens. If we get Ginger Darren, it'll make the Greens look like hypocrites. And we have enough blacks good, Greens bad. Not even Team Edward versus Team Jacob did that much hand-holding. Alicent and Helena go to the Sept, and they get caught up in a Smallfolk riot.
There's the Queen of Fishes!
So much for starving. The mob comes at them, but they're able to escape back into their carriage. Inside the Red Keep, Larys talks with Aegon. He goes into his backstory. He was born with a clubfoot, and his father looked down on him. He tells Aegon how people would treat him, and then he gives him some advice. As manipulative as he is, I think he's being honest. There aren't that many disabled people in court, so he'll take this chance to vent to the one person that's able to relate to him. Plus, it's in character for him to use the truth to manipulate Aegon.
3 days later.
Daemon gets another bad trip. Patty is the only saving grace in all this. Simon Strong interrupts to tell him that Grover's dead, and it's implied that Alice killed him. On Dragonstone, Mysaria brings up out of nowhere,
It was my father. was still a child, he had his pleasure with me.
Who the fuck starts a conversation like that? I just sat down.
Rhaenyra hugs her to comfort her, and it goes on way too long to be comfortable. Why the fuck was this necessary? Why couldn't they have just left it at a hug? Who does that? Who the fuck kisses someone after they were told a story about how their dad used to abuse them? Hess, why are you putting your own kinks in here? That's probably not Hess. That's probably Aileen Shim, one of the writers of The Acolyte. No, I'm not making that up. No wonder this episode is rated even lower than The Burning Mill, the one with Rhaenyra dressing up like a septa. Feels boring. It's like the last one. Too many setups when you know you have to wait 2 more years to see the payoff. That doesn't draw me in, it turns me away. I'm not one of those guys who are like, oh, all book to screen changes are bad. But season 1, this is not. Why the fuck would you take out Nettles when your last episode ended with Jace, scoffing at the idea of needing Valyrian blood to ride dragons? Consistency? It's like every episode was written by a different writer and they never fucking spoke to each other.
Fuck you. You're a fucking wanker.